Hey guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and today we're going to talk about one of the most magical new moons of the year, where the sun and moon come together on March the 13th. They join together at 23 degrees of Pisces, while Venus is right behind them within 3 degrees, exalted in the sign of Pisces. And Neptune is 3 degrees behind, and Venus 4 degrees behind, exalted in the sign of Pisces. So we have a puddle, and I love that word. I think it was Kelly Surtees who said that on the astrology podcast. There is a puddle in Pisces. Sorry, if I look like I'm moving around, it's because I've been standing all day, and now I realize I want to sit. So give me a minute while I try to get my chair, my squeaky chair. This is the one that I'm always sitting on when you guys hear me. I'm like, squeak, squeak, squeak. I don't want to stare. Oh my God, that's better. All right, so standing all day is not good for me at this point. I'm like, no, not really. Maybe I'll stand again, but right now we're sitting. So one of the things about Venus, we're going to talk about a few things, because to stay with me here, don't forget, we always do all signs, but listen to the beginning. You'll learn a lot about what's going on in the sky, and you'll have a better understanding when you go to the all signs portion. So, Venus is a big player in this particular new moon, and this new moon is not really afflicted by all kinds of, squares or oppositions. There's one square from Juno, the goddess of long-term partnership and commitment. We'll talk a little bit about her in the all signs portion more so. But in the beginning of this, I want to talk about the sense of this as a portal of potential magic available to us to harness if we choose on the 13th. So I'm going to do a 90-minute webinar, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 13th Eastern Standard Time, live. And you're welcome to join. The link will be in the description box below. And I want to go into this together with astro-shamanic techniques. I'm a trained shaman from African shamans, Ecuadorian shamans, initiated by the bird people of the Andes, etc. But I want to use a shamanic journey technique and a little magical talisman making as well, for us to harness the magic of this very beautiful, very sort of ethereal and almost unreal, but can be brought to earth, new moon. New moons are beginnings, new portals are opening in our lives. So yeah, I'm having a hot flash. So one of the things I want you to think about is, what do you want to make magic for? Even if you don't come to my class, it's fine. But think about your own life and think, okay, what's missing in my life? We always get these kind of high, lofty things. Well, I just want world peace. That's what I'm going to create magic for. I'm just going to create love for all. I'm just going to make sure that joy is sparking through my being. No. You need to pay the rent. Ask for some money. You're alone and you want to be in love. Ask for a partner. There's that old thing when this guy goes to heaven and he says, I played the lottery and I prayed for me to win, and I never did. God, I'm so mad at you. And God said, you never damn well bought the ticket. I always laugh at that. So when we do magic, we do two things. We set the intention, we harness the energies to support it, and then we take executive action as synchronicity and serendipity lead us along the breadcrumbs to creating the magic we're trying to envision and land. We're going to stick the landing, okay? To stick the landing, you need to have the intention clearly held. It should be practical and useful. You need to find auspicious times to invite the magic in. You need then to stick the landing by, in the weeks that follow, taking executive action, following the synchronicities. Now, this is going to be super juicy because Venus exalted in Pisces is naturally very magical. She is invisible in the sky on top of it. This is a nice, rare combination. Invisible Venus in the Babylonian tradition is the magical Venus. She is too close to the sun to be seen. She will be in the heart of the sun on March 25th, 6th. Then she will exit the heart of the sun and take until the 3rd week of April to become visible. What does that mean? Means it's very likely that the magic you concoct in your cauldron of intention on the 13th, on the new moon, won't actually see the light of results until sometime after the 3rd week of April, when you can see her in the sky again. All right, so be patient with your magic. It also is invisible Venus while she's in the state of exaltation. So even though she's now invisible and combusts the sun, she's in her chariot. She's protected by her VIP status in Jupiter's sign. The good news is that she's got run of his house. So it's like, okay, this is where she goes for her VIP treatment. And Jupiter's next door in Aquarius and can't see her. So it's called aversion. So he's not able to micromanage Venus, when she's in the house. He's totally not able to really do anything to help her, to do whatever, or to not help her, or to boss her around. And so she's kind of got the run of the show. And interestingly, I don't think an exalted Venus is going to raid the bar, right? Or have debaucherous parties or trash the place or have an orgy. An exalted Venus is going to get the rosary beads out of Zeus's closet or under his bed and start praying, because exalted Venus is about divine intoxication. She's kind of like the saint, the nun, you know, with a bit of a naughty in there too. And she wants to connect with God. And if you were born, by the way, with a Venus exalted, you're looking for your soulmate. You know, if you're a man, your woman will be very saintly and, you know, kind of, she will be on a spiritual quest. If you're a woman, you're looking for soulmate love, and you're not going to settle for anything less. You guys are very, very picky, that love has to have, you know, bring me a higher love energy. And the other thing I'd say is that, you know, Venus is in that proximity to Neptune, and this is his modern rulership. Like, he owns the real estate of Pisces. So possibly she could take some orders from him. If you were born with a Venus Neptune conjunct, you are the ultimate dreamer, daydream believer, you know, and a homecoming queen. You are such a dreamer. But you are also such a prone to illusion and rose-colored glasses, and, you know, choosing what you think is true love, but you can't see the person clearly. You're also hugely mystical and hugely creative, and your artistic ability is like to channel universal art. So a lot of people born with this kind of conjunction, or any contact between Venus and Neptune, but specifically the conjunction, are really incredibly beautifully gifted artists and creators. But also, again, divine discontent is a condition of any Venus-Neptune kind of combination, where the mortal part of us, the Venusian mortal part, is yearning for the transcendent part. It's a tantra, namaste, I salute the spirit in you, and then we won't have sex, we'll have divine communion where my Shakti and your Shiva come together. Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of that stuff. I did it for a while. I think it's pretentious, but that's just my take on it. So also, you know, if you are single and looking for love, this could be a sweet spot. There's only one glitch. There's a square from Juno, and Juno is the goddess of connection and partnership. And a square can mean an action, you know, something's happening, action, you know, because it's the nature of Mars, but it also can mean conflict or difficulty. So if somebody in your partnership story, love or business, it gives you some discontent and friction, go with it. Maybe it's time to let them go during this 28 days that follow this particular new moon. The Sabian symbol is an island. It's an uninhabited island, and the cautionary notes in the book I have for the 23rd degree new moon is, you know, not to be self-indulgent, egocentric, and isolated and selfish. And the upside of this is to be creative, inventive, and have the ability to find clever or novel ways to get a job done. There's that creativity. You're an artist. This is fantastic. This is so sweet for you to channel divine inspiration. If you're a musician, a writer, a painter, a photographer, a filmmaker, all these things. Neptune, especially Neptune's very active in filmmakers and photographers' charts. You can make some seriously, like, profoundly unique, original, and magical creations during this new moon, especially, and in the days that follow. Anything else I want to say about it before we go to the all signs? I would say that you might watch out for self-deception here. With the Neptune Venus so close to the new moon, there could be, like, you know, seeing somebody through, yes, those glasses of your hopes and dreams and wishes, and not what's really in front of you. And so pay very good attention to real life clues. You know, the expression, you know, people tell you who they are. You know, do you listen? Like, their actions usually tell you who they are. So that involves different areas of your chart, which we'll get to with the all signs, but be aware that you could delude yourself and deceive yourself by virtue of not really paying attention to what the real evidence is in front of you. The Chandra symbol, by the way, for this degree moon rounding up to 24, is something to do with a spring festival. The participants, a spring festival, the participants in a state of ecstatic frenzy. Well, you know, Venus loves ecstatic frenzy, no doubt about it. And, you know, that's a Dionysian thing too. But the ecstatic frenzy we're looking for is divine ecstatic frenzy. We're looking to find the ecstasy of a connection to our own soul. If you believe in God, then a higher power. And so, you know, I'm going to say, if you like to pray, This is a good moon for a good prayer. There's no doubt about it. I think prayer should be a conversation with the divine, not like an asking for something like a child. You know, I want a popsicle, I want a popsicle, I want a popsicle. Come on. You know, it should be a conversation, not a petition for what you need all the time. But you know, pray as you will. Pray as you will. All right, so let's get the chart up so I can show you what I'm seeing. Hang on. Righty. And we're going to do the all signs. Don't forget, you want to look at your ascendant first and then your sun and moon. If you're born at night, look at your sun. If you're born in the day, look at the moon. All right. How do you know if you're born in the day? How do you know if you're born at night? Well, if you look at your chart, go to astro.com or AstroSeek, put in your date of birth and your month and your year. That's the basics. Set it for whole signs to make it simple instead of quadrant-based houses. And then you'll see that the ascendant, of course, is the sign on the eastern horizon, and it'll have the ASC marker. And you always should listen to your ascendant. But then under the ascendant, descendant line, going across the 1 and 7th house, you will find there will be a sun down below here if you're a night baby. That's how you know. And of course, it's easy if you're born like at 3 a.m. But if you're a cusp, you know, sunrise or dawn baby, it's really good to just look at the chart and see if that sun is truly below the horizon line. All right, so let's talk about, you know what, I'm not going to do Pisces first. They always get to go first. I mean, Aries. Let's go back and do Pisces first. They are the stars of the show. Let's face it. So if you notice a weird jump cut here, it's because I decided to reset my chart so that I wasn't jumping all over the place, trying to fix the software. So here we go. We're doing the all signs, and we're starting on all signs this time with Pisces, because Pisces is the star of the day. Pisces, sun, moon, and especially ascendant. This is all about you. You are magical now. You are inspired. You are hyper creative. You are downloading the most original ideas. You are glamorous. You are seductive. You are inventive. You are creative. You are magical. I'm jealous. You've got a lot going on here. I would encourage you to spend the 13th in a state of, you can, a major imagination state. Journaling, morning pages, dream journaling, collaging, art, poetry, music. I mean, if you could take some of the time off that day, please think about it. Who knows what you can inspirely download from the universe. And it is interesting too, because you can be the person in this story that people look to because you are so enchanting. You are spellbinding. You are magnetic. So if you want to do something that day in which you can capitalize on that attention, like if you're an artist, you want to maybe do a spontaneous performance on YouTube or something, or on Clubhouse or whatever. Now, you can, with this combination so intensely in your first house, change your appearance. It's your identity and how you look. You might decide to glam up, but you also could do something really dreamy and magical and mystical in your appearance. Just even make a major wardrobe change that day, or buy something that makes you feel like you are an exalted Venus character. Something like, you know, I'm a magical and sensual, intelligent, wonderful being with great taste. I also would say that, you know, paying attention to your own image in a way that you don't normally do, by imagining yourself differently. People think Pisces could be fickle, flaky, spacey. What about you're just deeply woo, W-O-O? You're very intensely mystical because you're the mystic of the zodiac. Some of you may rediscover the value of that aspect of your being with such a beautiful new moon, in which Venus is really prevailing with Neptune to bring you into awareness of how so sorcerous and magical and mystical you really, really are. That square from Juno could be about some pressure to connect or partner with somebody in a business or work setting, or in your career direction. And I want you to suss out that pressure, because, you know, it is an action-oriented square, the nature of Mars. It could be a pressure to take action and go for some kind of new collaboration. Yet on the other hand, you may not want to. And if you have a partner and you're business or marriage partner is pressuring you to get to work or do something in your career, you're saying, no, I'm taking off time today. I am just having my sweet spot. I'm in divine intoxication today. See you later. Please think of joining my class, especially you Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants, because that will be a great opportunity on Saturday. There will be a replay available, so it can be done on your own time as well. And the description box below about the magical, enchanted, extraordinary magic of Venus, Sun, and Moon, and Neptune on the 23rd that we're going to harness. Now, you know, astrological magic is complicated, and, you know, there's a lot of rules about it. We're not talking deep, you know, making a stone talisman that lasts 1,000 years. I'm talking about some more playful magic that we can do with astro-shamanic techniques, as well as maybe a little paper talisman. And so I'm inviting you to play with me. There's not a lot of harm going on here. As you see, this moon is not exactly being squashed or debilitated, or, you know, angsty stuff is going on. Just that square from Juno. Well, and maybe the nodal axis, but it's a broad square, so really broad. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. For you, this is a very backdoor story. This is in your unconscious, your dreams at night, your meditations, your reverie. It's a house of enlightenment, moksha, a liberation from the dream, complete liberation here in the 12th house. If you're so inclined, you could have a spiritual breakthrough. You could have a great download or insight from a dream at night or a meditation. You know, things that happen in the 12th house come through the slippery side door of synchronicity, dreams, inspirations, meditations, your ahas, you know, but they're not like your thinking mind, and it's not your direct personal attention that brings them into fruition. You can't actually see the 12th house. It's kind of hidden from your view. So you get these sort of strange, you know, sideways inspirations coming in here. You could also definitely use trance shamanic journey work in the 12th house to activate what may be great divine downloads for creativity, artistry, new ideas, and some ascension energy. You know, I don't like that word 5D, 4D ascension, but certainly I feel there's a lot of ascension quality to this new moon for you, and reminding you that the magic of the day, yes, it unfolds over 28 days afterward, but the full fruition of the magic that Venus can give you, anyone, is after April's third week of April, as she rises into visibility again. All right. Anything else? Well, the square from Juno in the 9th house. So somebody, a business or a partner, a love partner, some collaborative energy from your house of book publishing, foreign lands, giving you some kind of pressure during this moon? Or do you feel pressured about a relationship? And, you know, Mars is conflict sometimes, disagreements, not seeing eye to eye, having a debate even. You could find that's a little gritty on the day and a couple days after the moon. I do think that it's not a big deal. It's, you know, Juno is not going to disrupt the show here, but be aware that that's ongoing in the story as well. You might need to disconnect. Juno is really good for connecting and disconnecting. She actually brings together and takes apart relationships, business and otherwise, and dismantles them. So I always call her the marriage and divorce goddess, and I watch it in a chart empirically. So I speak from client after client after client, watching their chart and their Juno. So just be aware that it also could be saying, like, I'm going to not work with this person. Like, I have a business partner, I'm not going to work with it. Oh, my agent for that publisher isn't right for me, or someone from that foreign land, it's not working in my agenda anymore. You know, so you could move away as well from some useful connection, non-aligned connection with another person in your story. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Wow, in the house of good spirit, one of the lucky houses of the zodiac, our hopes, dreams, and wishes are here. Our friends and who treat us well, our allies and benefactors, people who wish to do us favors. Belonging to groups and community, especially by choice, a group of people held together by ideals, faith, agreements, motivations, you know, clubs. And you also here with the you know, the whole Venus, Neptune, Sun, and Moon, you know, combination, this is a good time to really ask yourself on this new moon, what is your true dream for your life? What do you really wish for? I mean, it's almost like a genie in a bottle in your house of hopes, dreams, and wishes. Maybe it's time to really be willing to go into a deeper meditation, reverie, or investigation of what you really, really wish for. Now, this could be really great for friendships and could cultivate over the 28 days that follow this moon, really great new communities of belonging. And it doesn't mean that the new communities just start then. I mean, because, you know, the moon and sun have been traveling, well, the sun's been traveling here for 23 days and Neptune for like since 2011. But it could bring you new developments even in communities you already belong to, where suddenly you start to see these new horizons opening up. And these are positive horizons for you. Now, is money that can come from the 11th house. It's the great gains from one's 10th house. And so that's because the primary motion of the zodiac eventually moves the 11th into the 10th. And so they're connected. And I think you could find that you have some financial bonus happening, money, goddess Venus here, and exalted that you didn't expect, but you're welcome. So I would say for you guys, if you're going to do money magic, for instance, if you want to harness my course, take a look at in the description box below and come play. If you can't be available 3 o'clock to 4:30 on the 13th Eastern Standard, you can always catch the replay. All the shamanic journeying will be there for you to do, and all the instructions and all the instructions on how to make your talisman. I'm going to open up a mini Facebook group to go with that so we can share our talismans. But our artistic creations from that day. But I really want you to think about your money too. This is a good money magic energy for you. And don't forget, maybe until Venus gets visible around the third week of April, you won't see the full fruition of the money magic. But I think you could get some great ka-ching here. Ka-ching, ka-ching in your money house. So yay for you. Gemini, sun, moon, and ascendant. Now I had that thing I do every time. Am I actually recording? You know what I mean, guys? I do it every time. I think I'm recording. Let me take a look. Sorry. Recording. Yeah, I stopped recording and I always wondered, did I start again to clean up my software? All right, Gemini, sun, moon, and ascendant. You're having this experience of the magic in your 10th house of career. Wow, for you, if you have desire to exalt your career with magical intentions and move things up a notch, reputation and career and status, and feeling really good about your work, whatever it is in your stature in the world, this is a new beginning. And it plays out for sure over the 28 days that follow, and more so when Venus goes visible around the third week of April. But, you know, seeding new intentions to create magical outcomes in your career. Oh, I don't think I mentioned the Juno piece for the last sign, but I'm not going to go back and do it now. Sorry, I ripped off Taurus. Sorry about that, guys. So I would also say to you that you can basically count on females to have your back in your workplace or in your work environment. Exalted Venus in such benevolent space, doing her VIP thing, you could become exalted, but also there could be a very powerful female colleague or person in the sphere of your work. It doesn't have to be like in my office. You know, if you're a painter, a famous painter might see your work and go, she's amazing. We're gonna like feature her in like a gallery. Or I'm going to back her work or something like that. So looking at the idea of females coming to your assistance. Now, you know, there's a very mystical and spiritual ecstasy quality with Venus here. So finding the soul of your work, you know, a friend of mine wrote a book years ago called Bring Your Soul to Work, but you're bringing your soul to work. You're looking for God's guidance in your work. You're looking for the higher meaning of your work to prevail. So whatever you're doing, you're taking it to another level. At least you're trying to during this new moon and the days that follow. Deeper meaning in your work, right? Transcendent possibilities with how you approach your career. Anything else? The Juno square. Well, Juno is in the 7th house of love, relationship, and business partnerships, clients, and audience. You could possibly find that you are, you know, challenged by your marriage partner to get your head out of the clouds and bring it back down to earth in your career ambition or something. You could also find that a business partner does the same. You might also find that you're challenged by your spouse, like you are in this exalted state and your marriage or business partner is bugging you. Same with your clients and same with some of those people who follow you if you have an audience. So, you know, there's a little bit of grit there for sure. But you could also sign a contract or a legal agreement with Juno in the 7th. And if you do that, of course, fine print it. Make sure you have someone look over that fine print. Thank God Mercury is exalted in Aquarius for a while longer, where you can get some of the goodness of an eagle eye to look at the contract for you. All right. Anything else I'd say to you guys? No, that's about it. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, you're going to experience a lot of energy of Venus in the 9th house. That's her natural home in the birth chart of the world, the Thema Mundi, which is a Cancer rising. This is the temples, the religious temples, the pilgrimage temples, the Mecca temples. This is the house of God. This is Venus where she's happy. She's like, I'm in God's temple and I'm basically a saint, a nun, an ecstasy seeking, mystic. I'm falling in love with God, divine intoxication. If any of you are inclined to have divine intoxication and reverie and connect to the soul of God or whatever, not a bad new moon. Now, practically, it's the house of learning. So exaltation and education, especially higher education house, you may find a female teacher, exalted energy, like supporting you. You're feeling exalted by her presence. You might be, if you're studying any of her Venusian themes, love, art, beauty, fashion, cosmetics, painting, pottery, music, and suddenly you get this sweet spot in the 9th house. It could be literally that you learn something like, I learned the harp, but I've always played the bass guitar, and you find you're in your sweet spot. And if you're a photographer or filmmaker with Neptune present, wow, that too, everything I said, finding some exalted space of new learning about one of the arts that you're involved in. If you want to have spiritual liberation, in a way, there's like the spiritual guides, the mentors, the gurus often live in the 9th house. And so if you have a teacher, especially if it's a female, exalted Venus, this may have, in the month of the 20 days that follow the new moon, a huge, huge good impact in your life. You may just roll through that with some real sweetness, like, wow, my teacher just acknowledged me and said I'd graduated to the new level of something or other. And you can travel to foreign lands if you can get to a foreign land, in this COVID environment, because it is a house of foreign lands and pilgrimages and journeys to those lands. So a very few of you Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants may do that. You never know. And if you do take any journey in the 28 days that follow, remember the huge magic that's available comes fully through when Venus is visible in the 3rd week of April. It's all in the intro. Don't forget, I'm doing my magic course on Saturday, the 13th at 3 o'clock to 4:30 live, and you can get the replay to harness astro-shamanic and magical talismanic stuff to really cultivate something juicy from this rare and sweet moon. Pressure from Juno in the workplace or the health protocols. Are you going to disconnect and break up with somebody in the work environment? Are you going to break up with your boss? Are you going to leave some kind of partnership or collaborative endeavor that you've engaged in for your work? Are you business partnered or meshed up with somebody that doesn't fit you? Or are they pressuring you in some way regarding something to do with the work you're doing? Now, health protocols and exercise regimes as well. Just that gritty Juno square should be attended to. It can really play out as a positive action as well, a square, but it can also just be conflict and difficulty. And of course, prescription-wise, lean into the values of the Venusian exaltation, the unconditional love of Neptune, and choose wisely. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, you're experiencing this action in your 8th house of God, truth, and wisdom. Sorry, that's the 9th house. I spaced. I went thinking about, am I going to have enough time to do this video? Because I have to go to the market and then pick up my daughter, and then I have a client, and I'm like, oh no, I'm running behind. Sorry. Leo, starting over. This is happening in your 8th house of money, occult wisdom and knowledge, secrets that are hidden. All secrets are hidden. Tantric sex. Certainly for some of you, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants with Venus exalted, looking for divine intoxication in a house of like more rigorous magical sex acts, like sex magic. You could definitely do sex magic here, whatever that means for you. I also would like you to think about your money in a new way. Venus is a money goddess in a money house, and she's exalted here. Sometimes exaltation can be rising really high and falling, so be careful. But it could mean that something you've invested in just goes through the roof, like, you know, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I just got all this money. Take some off the table, maybe, you know, in the 28 days that follow this new moon with that exaltation there. Looking at Athena backing up Venus, you know, she's always strategic. Use a strategic mind around some windfall of exalted money some of you Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants will get. Know when to fold them. Neptune is participating, so you could have some confusion and uncertainty that comes from dreaming or looking at things unrealistically financially. So again, thank God for, you know, here we have this strategic Athena backing the story up. So yeah, this could be consult a lawyer, consult a financial expert who can give you good guidance about what to do with this exalted money story. And if you want to delve into things like astrology, sex, tantra, sex magic, astrological magic, tarot reading. I mean, Athena loves to learn. She's a cosmic, like, thirst for knowledge goddess, and she's often in the charts of librarians of all things, is a professional in their midheaven, and my clients anyway. But you might be introduced to a new book, or you might want to learn something that's Athenian. And Athena is also very prominent in the charts of astrologers, and she's in a house that can also be called one of the houses of astrology, the 8th house, arcane and occult knowledge and wisdom. So if you have any penchant to want to learn any of those things, this could be really good for you during the 28 days that follow this new moon. I'm going to be starting my own little astrology school, and it's called the Athenaeum, and maybe that'll be something that'll be interested to you for you in May. I'm going to use a whole new model of donations only, I think, no paywall. So you'll see what I mean. Stay tuned for that. All right, moving forward. So I can actually do all the things I'm supposed to do today. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is something that you can experience as an exalted love story in a primary relationship or business partnership. And if you have clients, audience, and other, and you're putting all content out there, like say social media wise, you could be really hitting the nail on the head and getting some viral action during the month of the 28 days that follow this magical new moon. Don't forget, check out my magic course. We're doing new moon magic with this exalted Venus, and making talismans and doing shamanic journey work on Saturday the 13th at 3 to 4:30, and you can get the replay if you can't be there live. So I'll have the link in my description box. So I think that if you're in a primary relationship, this is very sweet. This is where things suddenly settle into a feeling over the 28 days that follow of some enchantment with the one you're with. And if there's magic to go with that, that really shows up at the third week of April, when Venus becomes visible in the sky again. And wow, then things could really, really show up in terms of what this promise is being seeded now with Venus's help. If you want to do conscious magic here, yeah, you could take, if you're single and you're a Virgo and you want to harness this magic, this would be bring in a soulmate story. Okay, this would be magical, talismanic, astro-shamanic, to bring in a really powerful, spiritual, unconditionally loving, exalted union into your life. Of course, divine timing has so many layers. I don't know, magic has its bumper bowler things. You know, you'll go bowling and there's bumper bowling, right? So the ball doesn't hit the gutter. We do astrological, talismanic magic, or any kind of spell casting or intention setting, knowing there's a divine plan. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, but it doesn't help to put your queries or your intention, your order in, you know, to order what you want from the universe. So this is good for that. If you want a business partnership that's just divine, and you're tired of doing things alone, similarly, the same kind of magic can be created here for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. And if you're in a long-term committed relationship, this just makes it all the sweeter. And you might go to a new depth together, a new unconditional loving space. And you know, I also think that you could get proposed to. If you're with somebody for a long time and you guys been slogging along, some of you Virgo risings with Venus exalted, the goddess of love in the marriage house, your partner may say, "Will you marry me?" on bended knee, with his rosary beads in one hand, because that's a joke, but Venus is like very saintly in her disposition here. Libra, sun, moon, and ascendant, you're getting all the action, and you might not see it properly because, of course, I have to advance the chart now. I've moved into another zone, but the moon really is with the sun in your 6th house of work and health protocols, and the 6th house of your colleagues at work, or your employees if you're an employer, co-workers if you're employed, and things you do to feel better about your body and prevent sickness. Now, certainly if you want to pick up a new health protocol and there's this new beginning that's possible, it will have the nature of the Piscean thing. So swimming, exercise, water aerobics, but also walking by the sea, but also meditation, journaling, the morning pages, writing poetry. Now that doesn't sound like a health protocol, but there's a study that shows that people who journal by hand in a journal have better states of low cortisol and inner peace and great brainwave patterns than people who don't. So it actually has a neurophysiological benefit to journal in a journal by hand. All right, so keep that in mind. For the work story, exalted Venus in the work house, a woman in your workplace could raise you up or assist you or give you some really good stuff, and you'd be like super juiced up. And I realize I'm not talking about Juno for everybody now because I keep forgetting about her, so don't worry about it. But just to mention Juno for the Libras, it's coming out of the 3rd house of your local neighborhood, siblings, aunts, and cousins. Some kind of tension there. If you've partnered with it, like a really good friend, like a childhood friend, or someone like you're good in the hood buddies on some endeavor, there's friction from that person. It is a house of travels and trips, but again, it's about the idea of partnership, friction from the partnership zone of the chart, but in the 3rd house of your local neighborhood. So you could just be, or legal contracts sometimes are Juno in, I found. So if you're signing rental documents or local documents to do with things in the local neighborhood, anyway, leases on properties, who knows, you could just have to really duke it out a bit there and really stand your ground on something. Okay, so sorry about that for anyone I missed the Juno with. Yeah, I'm just like a little out of it today. I can already feel this coming into my energy field. I'm recording on Friday, Venus Day, of course, I'm born with Venus and Taurus in my 4th, and I have a strong affinity to her for a lot of reasons. She's sextile my Jupiter. And I find that when I'm in her energy field, like on a Venus day, I sometimes am, I think probably I'd be like painting a canvas today if I wasn't doing a video, honestly. All right, so Scorpio, sun, moon, and ascendant. This is going to be your 5th house of romantic love. Well, love can certainly find you. This is like the 28th of March. No. Oh my God. Sorry, the 13th of March at the 23rd degree of Pisces, you are looking for the possibility of a deep and profound soulmate story emerging in your life. That is sun, moon, and ascendant Scorpio. Depending on where your natal sun is as well, right? How close is it to this Venus, for instance, during this new moon? This is a Venus at 20 degrees, so that's just, really think about, probably somebody born around, Scorpio 21, and, will my brain pull this off right now? Probably not. Yeah, whatever, 20 degrees into the sign. So which all I'm saying though, for some of you sun Scorpios and moon Scorpios, it does not always work as strongly as if you're a Scorpio rising. Just want to put that to your attention. But if your sun was by degree pretty close to this new moon, for instance, or your moon was close to this new moon and Venus, then it's really more appropriate for divine intoxication, soulmate love. If you want to have children, then babies can be conceived and pregnancy can happen here. Just possibility, right? New moon that's so beautiful and so magical and so mystical could do a baby making story here as well. Now, romantic love is only one meaning of the 5th house. It's your inner child. It's fun. It's play. It's pleasure. It's joy. It's the muse. It's a spark of inspiration. It is where you find all of the artists have planets. The performers, the artists. You don't do a field. You're not a musician and an artist and a performer and an actress if you don't have anything in your 5th house, very rarely, unless the ruler of your 5th is very well appointed. So For a lot of you artistic souls, this is exquisite muse. This is a muse giving you like Amrita, the nectar of the gods, giving you like the inspiration of a lifetime. Gosh, take it. If you have to work on Saturday, take the day off. Come do my magical course from 3 o'clock to 4:30. I think you might be the perfect candidates for it. Yes, I do. I really do. And Venus kind of likes being in the 5th house because it's a sex and love house. And she's a sex and love goddess. So yay for you. Anything else I want to say? And of course, the sun is happy there because that's his natural home as well. So this is a sweet, sweet spot for those people who are Scorpio rising, especially. Anything else? The Juno piece. Yeah, well, watch out for people frictioning you about money stuff from the house of earnings, employment, wages, self-possession, voice, vocation. Any business partner or love partner friction here, just discard it. I don't like that square. That's why I'm not talking about it, you know? This is your wages, you know, maybe your paycheck doesn't come through, or your boss doesn't write the paycheck, or something goes on here. But because Juno's involved, it's usually about someone you connected with, like partnered energetically with, who's squaring your incredible cauldron of muse-driven creativity and magic that's going on in that 5th house. So don't let them piss you off. If you're Scorpio rising looking for love and you're single and Juno's squaring from the 2nd, I mean, it could be some other person, a 3rd element in the story, you know, like we are falling in love, or I met this guy online and it's really happening, or girl, and over there is his ex-wife or ex-husband or husband, or, you know, someone else is in the story, like frictioning the story. So keep that in mind as well. The true magic that you can see if you intentionally use this magic, especially on the day of the new moon, by harnessing it, you will see it prevail and show up more directly when she's visible Venus at the end of April. A little delay there for the true juice to show up. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. So you're getting a lot of this energy coming through in your 4th house, where the stellium is, the puddle or the stellium is going to have its action on the 23rd degree / March the 13th. So the 4th house is your real estate house, Sagittarius, and home, and your mom especially, and your parents as well, family of origin energy, your ancestral line. If you have any real estate dealings you're doing, like trying to buy or rent or sell, this is a sweet spot. This is a exalted Venus, and Athena can often be contractual legal arrangements in that 4th house. If you've been waiting for an offer on a property, or if you really want to buy something and you need to get a monetary break, like a discount, I don't know, exalted Venus could bring you some really good news here. And, you know, again, the delay, the seeds are planted. The 28 days that follow the new moon on the 13th are exquisite, fine, but the full yay, 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 let's celebrate, may not show up till the end of April when she becomes visible in the sky. So for real estate, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because it takes time to close or whatever else. So anyway, things in the home. Now, you may beautify your home, redecorate your home, repaint, buy an exquisite piece of furniture, get an altar, light some candles. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that Venus could propel you to do in the home. Be super creative in and from the home. Write your best-selling song as a musician in the 28 days that follow, from sitting in your home studio, concocting a new story, a new muse, a new exalted universal form of art. You could write a bestseller. You could write a award-winning poem. You could create a piece of music that's so original and inventive, but transcendent as well. So for the creatives here, it's what you do in the home and around the home that really, really kicks in. That square from Juno is in the house of yourself, and you know, a house divided, you know. So watch for your own self, undoing your own self-doubt, your own push and pull between impulses. For some of you Sagittariuses, Juno there is trying to activate until November, possibly a new love story, because when Juno goes through the 1st house, which she does all the way from now until November, she often brings in love. She's on the axis of the 7th house. So again, maybe somebody that is really in your periphery or really close to you already is pressuring you around, how much things are going on in the home or the real estate thing. But anyway, I think it's going to all work out one way or the other. This square is just a little bit of grit under, like sand in the shoe, really. Sand in the shoe of something very exquisite. Capricorn, sun, moon, and ascendant, you're going to get a lot of juice in your third house of aunts and uncles and siblings and local neighborhood people and pubs and bars and trips and travel, short domestic ones. Skills-based learning, self-expression, writing, marketing, and merchandising. All of those things. I hope that's a very busy house. There's a lot of things you can do down there. Oracles and diviners are down there, like tarot readers. So maybe an exalted female tarot reader, story, maybe you being inspired to write something or express yourself in a new way. Maybe you putting out a social media post to market something you're doing and it just takes off. Maybe an exalted female that you know on the social media environment, because often third house is social media platforms, suddenly wants to bring some goodness to your story, to what you're up to. If being on a podcast, being highlighted on someone's show, being highlighted on someone's YouTube channel, that's all like an exalted Venus energy, maybe in your third house. Again, the values are transcendent, universal love, mysticism, divine intoxication when she's there, but she's still Venus. She's still a diva, and she can make you the center of attention. Very magnetic and charismatic on your social media platforms. Juno, even though Juno is in opposition, she is a goddess of partnership. So she could be saying in your 12th house, a hidden partnership, a partnership behind the scenes, someone that, is like a silent partner, is going to friction or support or propel you to some action. All right. It's very hard to figure out what a Juno in the 12th house is because it's hidden from view from you. So keep that in mind. Spirit guide, trying to pressure you or trying to assist you to take action. So someone in my neighborhood is smoking cigarettes. I think it's downstairs. It's really driving me nuts. I smell cigarette smoke. I'm never sensitive to cigarette smoke. Not really, but right now I am today. Really weird. And they're not supposed to smoke in my building. Aquarius, me, sun, moon, and rising. This is me, guys. Wow. So it's all about the money, honey. One of the money houses, Venus exalted here. Yeah, the moon's really over here. And so on the 28th, there's an exalted money story, money magic. This is one of the people who should be doing money magic. I'm doing my own money magic. Join me on my course, please, on 3 o'clock to 4:30 on the 13th, where we're going to do astro-shamanic and talismanic stuff together, and it will be available for replay, so you can still do it if you can't be available that time. I would suggest it be done though by the end of the day on Sunday to still get the energy of this new moon involved in what you're up to. So for you Aquarians, this is all about your resources, your voice in the world, your vocabulary, your calling, your self-possession, your resources that you need for thrival when you pass the survival threshold. When you have this juice in the second house with an exalted Venus who does rule money in general, of course it depends on your natal Venus, but there's very good chance that you're going to have some sweetness coming to you in the 28 days that follow financially. And the biggest reveal might be at the end of April, third week of April, when Venus becomes visible as she's reborn and in the sky as her evening star status. I would say for you guys, also, because the second house is about one's true voice and the larynx, and also about what you eat, food styles. Like, I'm experimenting with vegan. So far, I'm having a hard time. So I'm mostly just doing vegetarian, but, refining, that spiritual divine intoxication energy, refining, really bringing down into, refinement one's food style. Divine intoxication beats getting drunk, but certain foods, high pranic foods that are plant-based, can increase our energy field. And that could be what we're seeing here. For sure, we could be seeing that energy. Also, I like the idea here that the square from Juno is coming from collaborative, like business partnerships or love partnerships in the 11th house of tribes, clubs, belonging, hopes, dreams, and wishes. I've partnered with a few people on Clubhouse as an astrologer. I'm loving Clubhouse, doing panels there. Maybe one of my partners in Clubhouse is going to pressure me, or I'll have some friction there, or just have some call to action. Sometimes a square is just a call to action from someone I'm partnering with. And if there is a call to action, look what it does. It benefits my finances. Okay, but it could also distract me. So I have to be discerning, and Neptune can make it hard to be discerning. So for some of you Aquarians, be discerning about either call to actions or pressure from the community community of friends and allies and colleagues and, you know, belonging places you're a part of that could result in, you know, a distraction from what is basically a money magic cauldron or puddle in your second house. Okay, moving on. Lastly, oh my God, I did Pisces. I'm done. Did I? Yeah. Woohoo! I gotta run to the market and get some groceries, pick up my daughter, and make a delicious pasta dish. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to this amazing magical story of what's happening in the sky. I so would love you to come to my class. If you're free on Saturday and you want to do this class with me on a live Zoom webinar and actually bring your tools, I'll be asking you to bring some crayons or some magic markers and some blank paper. And if you're really into stuff, glue sticks to collage, it's up to you. We're going to do it real time. We're going to do real time shamanic journey because I am a trained and initiated shaman in several traditions around the world. I'm talking about with the real indigenous people. And we're going to bring together our energy field for each of us to seed magic in our lives in an area where it's possible. So I'm not going to seed magic that I'm going to become an opera singer because I can't sing, but I'm going to seed magic about a very specific desire that I might want to bring into form. So come join me. If you're free on the day or you want to take the class, but you're not free, the replay will still be pretty good for you in the 2 days that follow that moon because, well, at least in the, until the end of the day, Sunday, where you can still use the magic that's in this formula for the time that the moon is still looking pretty like, well, a new moon in the sky, right? Not a crescent moon, but a new moon. All right, thanks guys. I love you. Take care. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, help me grow my channel. Mwah.